Sushruta for NEET is now available on the Google Play Store. Try it out for free.
We shall take up now what is called commensalism. Commensalism is the interaction in which one species is benefited, but the other one is neither harmed nor benefited. Can anyone tell me which example I have given? I have already explained one example. Can anyone recall? Please, you have to respond, otherwise I'll get anger.
Suckerfish and ignis.
Suckerfish and larger aquatic animals like shark, whale, turtle, etc. Another example that we shall give it from the plant kingdom, that is orchid. Orchid is an epiphyte. That means it is growing on the other plants, on the trunk surface, or where the branches are there, in the bud of between the main stem and the branch. In this way, you come across orchids. I hope you know. You do come across beautiful orchids. I hope you might have seen these orchids. So, an orchid growing as an epiphyte on a mango branch is a best example for commensalism, where mango is only giving space for the orchid to attach. Orchid, it gives just accommodation. It won't give any food. A big, huge mango tree. If it only it allows us some orchid to grow in one of the branches, it is not going to lose anything. It is not harmed. Or by the presence of this orchid, mango plant, mango tree is not going to get any benefit also. So that is one example. I show you that. You can see that. You can see this. Can you see this slide? This is what you have orchid plants. Orchids give beautiful flowers. So this is not going to get any food from the mango tree. It has its own roots and they absorb the moisture from the atmosphere. They absorb a little bit of nutrients also, water that is available from the atmosphere. So this is orchid. Another example is the barnacle. Barnacles are aquatic arthropods. These barnacles, they grow on the back of whale. When a whale, because when the whale swims from one place to another place, the barnacle which is growing on that, it comes across with the different types of food. Look here, this is what I have, the barnacles. I hope you can see the barnacles here. These are the barnacles you come across. Right? The barnacles, see, these are all barnacles growing on the surface, body surface of the whale. Whale has a huge body. It won't make out. It can't make out. Right? The cattle egret and grazing cattle in close association. I think many times you might have seen cattle egret either grazing near the found near the grazing cattle, or sometimes you see cattle egret sitting on the back of the cattle. Have you seen these egret birds? Have any one of you seen this egret bird? Egret?
Yes, sir.
Blissy?
Yes, sir.
What is its color?
White.
White. So this cattle egret and grazing cattle in close association, a sight you are most likely to catch whenever you come to college and go. rural areas, is a classic example of commensalism. The egrets always forage collectively food close to where the cattle are grazing because the cattle, as they move, stir up and flush out. 1 minute, I think Kavita has come. Admit, Kanisa. Kavita, are you there? Kavita? See, Kanisa came, I could make out. Someone please call Kavita and tell her to just try to get admitted. Generally, are you going to tell her?
I don't have her number, sir.
Then how you could say that Kavita was waiting?
I told Kenisa was waiting, sir.
Huh?
I told Kenisa was waiting.
Yeah, I am asking Kavita only. Sorry, okay. Who has number of Kavita? Hello? Anyone has number of Kavita?
I have a number, sir.
Would you please tell her? Kavita, let me just try. Hello, Kavita.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, come, try to come inside. Quick, I am waiting for you. Just a minute, I shall admit her. Okay, I think something is problem with her. Because once I started class, I not see this board. I cannot make out if it or someone comes. Just now, sometimes it gets prompted by the sound. Okay, let me, yeah, okay, Kavita is coming, right. Okay, so, now, yeah, whenever you see that in the rural areas and all, you see this cow and this white bird cattle, just near each other. When the cattle is feeding, it just brushes these grasses and all. When the insects are sitting there, they start flying. Immediately, this cattle egret, it catches it. Otherwise, cattle egret has to go in search of each and every grass where is the insect. So, in this, cattle is not doing any favor to cattle egret, but the cattle egret gets benefit from the cattle. I hope you have understood. Okay? So, look here. Can you see? Can you see cattle egret? Can you see? Can you see? Can you see? Can you see?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why you came late? 20 minutes late. So this is what you have the white bird. Now what this bird is doing? Is it that simply sat there to take a free ride? Or can you tell me? Is there any other purpose of this cattle egret climbing the body of this cow? Hello? Have you seen what it is going to do? Is it that simply to enjoy the ride? Namrata, Siddesh, Rakesh, can you guess what this is going to do? Many times, cattle egret starts picking up body lice from the body of cattle. It starts eating. So, now what is the relationship now? What you call this relation? Is it still commensalism?
No, sir.
Then
Mutualism.
mutualism. Is it obligatory mutualism or facultative mutualism?
Facultative.
Facultative. Who is answering my question? Is it Aisha?
Yes, sir.
Facultative. So it is not obligatory. It is not obligation on the part of cattle to have always cattle aggregate or cattle aggregate always to get the cattle. No. If they come, if the cattle aggregate gets an opportunity to sit on the back of the cattle will be also happy. Cattle aggregate also will be happy. Okay. So this is another example of commensalism. Another example of commensalism is the interaction between sea anemone that has stinging tentacles and clownfish that lives among them. What is that? Sea anemone and the clownfish. What fish you see? Beautiful colored fish. Are you seeing this fish? This fish is called clownfish. What it does, this clownfish, it always lives very close to that of this what you see here, these are all tentacles of the sea anemone. Sea anemone. I hope you know what are there in the tentacles of sea anemone. Do you know? What are there in the tentacles of sea anemone? A peculiar type of cells. Do you know what is there? What are they?
Nitroblast.
Nitroblasts or nematoblasts, or they are simply called stinging cells. They are simply called stinging cells. Stinging cells. Okay. And these stinging cells, what they do? Have I told you my experience of these stinging cells? Hello?
No, sir.
No? Okay. I'll show you that. I'll tell you about that. Okay. Now, hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You are hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You are seeing this slide?
No, sir.
No?
No, sir.
Are you seeing now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This is what you have the nitroblast. See, in this nitroblast, see, this is the nitroblast. It will be there in the tentacles, in the body, in both body region and in the tentacles, you have nitroblast. And these nitroblasts have, see, nidocele, hair-like structure. And there is one long whip-like structure. Can you see this whip-like structure? Yes, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And at the bottom, you see spines, barb. What happens whenever the nitroblast is not used? The entire this thread-like structure will be there inside coil. It will be there as a coiled structure inside. It will be there as coiled structure inside. See, this is what. Or I can show you. Right. Can you see here? It is a remaining like this, coiled inside. When the prey touches this nidocell, immediately the coiled part, the thread part comes out. With the help of a ball, it makes the wound in the body of the prey. And this thread is introduced, immediately gets introduced, tip of the thread, it gets introduced into the wound, inserted into the wound, and a poison called hypnotoxin gets released. A poison gets released. And this poison is sufficient to create some sort of giddiness, unconsciousness in the prey, and immediately this catches that prey. Did you understand what I'm telling? Have you understood? Right? Clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Here you come across. This is what is called a nematocyst cyclic structure. And this is the barbs. And this is the thread. And this poison comes out. What happened, you know? Once, it is somewhere in 1979. I took my students to Rameshwaram for biological collection. Biological tour it was, specimen collection. And it was Sunday. We know whenever we go to this biological collection, we ask this fishermen to tell us by seeing this calendar when is the high tide and when is the low tide. Low tide means in the sea, please remember, very important, in the sea, there will be always around 12 hours high tide and around 12 hours low tide. In a 24 hours of time, suppose today it starts at 1 o'clock up to tomorrow 12 o'clock, night 12 o'clock, morning 1 o'clock, I am telling daytime, up to night 12 o'clock, it is a high tide. From 12 o'clock onwards, again for another 12 hours, it is a low tide. It is not that if at all you are moving in the beach, waves may come little bit of a different height. You can't expect any wave to come all of a sudden. If at all you are moving in the beach, all of a sudden you can't expect the wave to come to the height of 10 to 15 feet. Have you noticed it at any time? Immediately coming 10 to 15 feet high wave? Have you seen? Whenever you are moving in the sea beach, if at all it happens, no one will go to the sea beach. No one will go to the beach or no one will go to the seashore. Are you hearing me, Dhyuti?
Yes, sir.
Namrata?
Yes, sir.
So, now, in the sea, there will be 12 hours always low tide. 12 hours high tide. During that high tide, you can expect the waves, we can expect the tide waves at the height of in between around 12 to 13, 14 feet. During the high tide, how much wave height comes? During the low tide, that much will not be there. And at the time of low tide, you see the waves to be present just at the maximum to your knee level. Not more than that. Literally, you can walk into the sea. Not walk along the sea, walk into the sea. Are you catching my point, Kanisa?
Yes, sir.
Kavita?
Yes, sir.
So, you walk into the sea. I took the students. All of a sudden, we saw a beautiful sea anemone. A beautiful sea anemone with all its color, sea anemone, all its color exposed. Beautiful tentacles exposed with exposed Okay, it is all with the, yeah, with its tentacles beautifully projected out like that. See, this is what you have. The beautifully colored sea and moon. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing this?
Good, sir.
Are you seeing this?
Yes, sir.
And these belong to Anthozoa, and Anthozoans are always colored flowers of the sea. They are called flowers of the sea. So these beautiful one like this, I got beautiful with different colors and all. So immediately the students asked me, sir, we collected, sir, we shall take it, sir, we collected, sir. Immediately I tried to collect because we could see at our footstep it is there. It was there. So I tried to just take it out. It was a muddy bottom, but it started going deep in the mud. But I never wanted to accept a defeat in front of my all girl students there. Immediately I lifted it up. When I started touching it, all the tentacles went inside. All the tentacles started inside, withdrew, and it started going deep. And I did not give up my attempt. I just held it at the basal disc region, lifted it up. Do you know what has happened? Immediately, all the tentacles came out. All the tentacles came out, and I got so much surprised, frightened. I screamed, Amma, and I threw it. That's what quickly came out. I threw it literally. And immediately I asked my attendant. My attendant was there by name Paddu, adi hidko. He had a bucket in him. And he took in the bucket. Okay. After throwing it, when I'm seeing my hand, hundreds of black dots. Hundreds of black dots on both of my hands. I was wondering, what are these? Till then, I joined my service in 1976. Till then, I was giving all the lecture, blah. Coelenterata, Nitroblast, Nematoblast, Nematocyst, dangerous. It is an organ of offense and defense. All blah. Pustakada Badnekaye. Never had any idea. At that time, I got, oh, these are the Nitroblasts. These are the nematocysts. And I know there is a poison in that. And hundreds of them. What to do? And we started it in the afternoon at 3 o'clock, Sunday. By this time it has become about 6 o'clock, getting dark. Immediately we made it a point to return. And I started picking up slowly, one by one. It was not paining, it was removing. And I wanted to meet some doctor. New place, Rameshwaram. Night it has become about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Where you will get any doctors on Sunday at the 9 o'clock at the 9 o'clock? Night 8 o'clock? I did not get. Then I removed all this slowly. Of course, it was not paining. And I slept. After 15 days, I came back to Udupi, near Krishna temple, Badagatittu. I had my sister's house. I slept there. At night time, again Saturday night, I was sleeping. Night time, I got so much itching in my hands. In sleep, while I started itching. All of a sudden, I got up, woke up, and I saw my fingers are all very double in size. They are swollen. And in this finger, I had a ring. And I felt paining like anything, that finger. It was paining like anything. I could not remove that ring also, gold ring. Somehow I managed it till the next day morning. Immediately I ran to doctor. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Ran to doctor. to my family doctor. Early in the morning, I was waiting for the sun to rise. I ran to my doctor. And doctor, by name Pandya, his son is working there at Badavirito now as a doctor. This is Bhaskar Pandya, that Pandya's father. I went to that Bhaskar Pandya. Sir, Gopal, why you are disturbing me in so early morning? Sir, see my hand, sir. Oh, come, he said. And he saw. And he said, you have to cut your finger. What, sir? You have two options. Either get your ring cut immediately, or we have to, if at all you delay, you have to cut your finger because blood supply is stopped there. Immediately, of course, he was a very jovial person. He used to make all these jokes with me. So immediately I went to one of my relative. It's Durga Jewelry. It is there still in near Sanskrit College. I went there. Of course, it was in some other area, and I got that my ring cut at that time. And doctor gave me some injection, and it took me another 15 days to regain my fingers to normal shape. Understood? This is the effect of what? What? This effect of, come on, poison of, slow poison of stinging cells. Understood? Clear? Clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So another example of commensal with the interaction between sea animal that has stinging cells, stinging tentacles, and a clownfish that lives among them. The fish gets protected from the predator. What is the advantage? Whenever the fish is threatened, it starts moving nearby this. When it starts moving, of course, it keeps a safe distance from the tentacles, it by moving, and if the predator starts coming inside, they are very much scared. And this clownfish is adjusted for that life. It knows how to move in between these tentacles of this sea animal and how to get protected. It's a predator, when it comes, it gets scared. It gets scared and it never touches this clownfish. The fish gets protected from the predator, which stay away from the stinging tentacles. The animal does not appear to, the sea animal does not appear to derive any benefit by hosting the clownfish. I hope it is clear. Clear? Now we shall look into mutualism. You know, in mutualism, both the populations are benefited. The interaction confers benefits on both the interacting species. I think I have told you the other day, mutualism is of two types, facultative mutualism, obligatory mutualism, right? What is the example for obligatory mutualism? Janani, can you tell me?
Lichens.
Lichens. What is the example for facultative mutualism? Kanisa, can you tell me? Navya?
Yes, sir. Sea anemone and hermit crab.
Sea anemone and hermit crab. So, lichens represent intimate mutualistic relationship between a fungus and photosynthesizing algae or cyanobacteria. Fungus and photosynthesizing algae or cyanobacteria. Right? These are the lichens. I hope you may have, okay. No, some of the parts you have to study. So, these are the lichens, crustose, squamulose, foliose, fruticose. These are the different types of lichens. When it is found attached firmly on the ground, it is called crustose. Whenever you come across itself as a small pebble-like structure, squamulose. Whenever it appears like a leaf-like structure, foliose. Whenever it appears like a twig-like structure, fruticose. Okay, these are the three types of lichens. Similarly, mycorrhizae are association between fungi and roots of higher plants, especially pinus. What is pinus? Have you heard? What is this pinus? What type of plant it is? Namrata? Siddesh? Pinus is an example for Who will tell me? Jayasri, Tanusri, Savitri, Prithviraj, Lohit,
Gymnosperms.
Gymnosperm. So, the mycorrhizae are associated with fungi and the roots of higher plants. Higher plant like pinus. The fungi help the plant in the absorption of essential nutrients from the soil, while the plant in turn provides the fungi with the energy-eating carbohydrates. So, fungi absorbs the nutrients, gives it to the host plant. Host plant produces, shows photosynthesis, gives the food to the fungi. Both are mutually benefited. This is mycorrhizae. What you come across there on the roots of the pine tree. The most spectacular and usually fascinating example of mutualism are found in a plant-animal relationship. What type of that? You know, butterflies, moths, birds pollinating a flower. Don't you think that both are benefited? Yes. Butterflies, insects are also benefited because they get the nectar, they get the food, and plants are also benefited because they get pollinated. Plants need the help of animals for pollinating their flowers and dispersing their seeds. Plants always require the help of animals for pollinating their flowers and dispersing their seeds. Animals obviously have to be paid fees. Is it that simply the animals come and do that? No, they should get the fee. What is that fee? They should get something, some incentive. They should get some benefit. Animals obviously have to be paid fees for the services that the plants expect from them. Plants offer rewards or fees in the form of pollen. Many of the insects they feed on that also. In the form of pollen and nectar for pollinators and juicy and nutritious fruits for seed dispersal. So you are also you eat the fruit of mango. Why you eat fruit mango? Because because you know it gives you food, it gives you carbohydrate, it is pulpy, it is sweet. That is why you are plucking and eating this mango fruit. And after eating, you throw it somewhere. See, then the plant germinates. So we are getting the mango tree is benefited by you because you are helping its seed dispersal. And we are benefited by the mango because we are getting the food. But the mutually beneficial system should also be safeguarded against the cheaters. Cheaters. There are some cheaters. Who are these cheaters? There are some cheaters. For example, animals that try to steal nectar without aiding in pollution. You know, there are some insects. Perhaps they have learned this from this bad habit by seeing EV human beings. What is happening? You have some insects. What it does, it goes there before the flower is opening, and it knows that somewhere in this part there will be nectar, and they make it a point just to suck the nectar by making hole in it, and they don't pollinate at all. So under that circumstance, the insect is benefited, but the flower is harmed. It is not getting any benefit. Its nectar is stolen. I hope it is clear. Understood? These are called cheaters. Cheaters. Sarvatra? Understood? Vishwas?
Yes, sir.
Understood? Okay. Now
Yes, sir.
I am taking your attendance. Please answer your attendance. Aisha,
Yes, sir.
Blessy,
Yes, sir.
Kanisa,
Yes, sir.
Fatima,
Present.
Janani,
Yes, sir.
Kavita,
Yes, sir.
Navya.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tanusri, Tanusri,
Yes, sir.
Jayasri,
Yes, sir.
Savita,
Yes, sir.
Visvita,
Yes, sir.
Nadira.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Charan,
Yes, sir.
Chinmay,
Yes, sir.
Harshavardhan,
Yes, sir.
Siddesh,
Yes, sir.
Gautam,
Yes, sir.
Vishwas.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Jyoti,
Yes, sir.
Rakesh,
Yes, sir.
Namrata,
Yes, sir.
Prithviraj,
Yes, sir.
Lohit.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Have I left anyone? Have I left any name? No. Okay. Now let us look into this is okay, not required. It is not there in your syllabus. Okay. Now you can see why plant-animal interactions often involve coevolution. Many times you come across coevolution. What is that coevolution? Whenever one organism is getting benefit by another organism, say, if the flower is pollinated by a pollinating animal, when the flower gets evolved, pollinators evolve. So that is evolution of the flower and its pollinator species are tightly linked with one another. What is that? It means that a given fig species, have you seen fig species? Blessy, have you seen its a fig species? Not the pig. FIF, FIG. Anyone has seen a fig tree?
Yes, sir.
Who is this telling?
Rafa.
Rafa, what is that fig tree called in Kannada?
Arti, I guess.
Atti Mara. Have you heard about Anjura?
Yes, sir.
Have you eaten Anjura?
Yes, sir.
Do you like Anjura?
Yes, sir.
Janani, you like Anjura? Namrata, Janani,
Yes, sir.
you like Anjura?
Yes, sir.
Namrata, you like Anjura?
No, sir.
No, why you don't like? Namrata is not like Anjura because she knows that inside the Anjura there will be worms. Small worms are there. She wants to be strictly vegetarian. That is why she doesn't eat. Okay? ಅಂಜೂರದ ಒಳಗೆ ಯಾವತ್ತು you come across a small worm because eggs will be there and that go into the worm. It means that given fig species can be pollinated only by its partner wasp species. A given fig species, Attimara or Anjura, it given a fig species can be pollinated by only its partner wasp species and no other species. The female wasp uses the fruit not only as oviposition site. A wasp, female wasp visits its flower of this fly and fig species, lays the eggs there as the egg site, but uses the developing seeds within the fruit for nourishing its larvae. That means when the larva hatches out from the egg, the larva requires some food, that food is also given by this fig. That is fig species. The wasp pollinates the fig inflorescence while searching for suitable egg laying site. It is coming now to lay the egg. Visits its inflorescence. At that time, it lays the eggs there and it goes. But at that time, in return for the favor of pollination, when the wasp comes there, it brings the pollen grains from other plants. So it will help in pollination. In return for the favor of pollination, the fig offers the wasp some of its developing seed as a food for developing wasp larvae. When the larvae, at the time when the larvae hatches, it wants food. Please remember, for most of the insects, larvae requires a solid food, like a leaf surface, seeds like that. And the adult always requires nectar. Always it requires for liquid food, nectar. Okay? Now, this is what this is what big species. Have you seen this? This is your Anjura. So in this, actually, when it is influenza condition, at that time only the wasp comes and lays the eggs and goes. So each and every Anjura fruit has egg of a wasp. Egg of wasp. If at all from the egg larva hatches out, then you see the larva, then you throw it out. Otherwise, without your knowledge, you eat that Anjura, oh, so nice, very nice, and you are eating actually egg of wasp also. Understood, Jyoti?
Yes, sir.
You enjoy it, am I right? It is most tasteful, am I right? So,
Yes.
this is what the fifth species. Let it be. Now, orchids show bee-winding diversity of floral patterns, many of which have evolved to attract the right pollinator insect and ensure guaranteed pollination by it. Now, coming to the another example of orchid, I have already told you, orchids they grow on some other plant, and orchids are beautifully colored plants, beautifully flower plants also. So here, what you see, each orchid show bee-winding diversity of floral pattern. If you look into the flower of orchid are so attractive because they have different shapes also. And why that? Why that orchid shows a different color, different shape, different structure is to attract a particular type of pollinator. And to see that there is the 100% pollination. Look here, this is an orchid flower. Orchid flower. You can see in this orchid flower a part. Can you see here? This part, what you see, this part is one of the petal of the orchid. You see, this is one petal, this is another petal, this is one more petal. But this petal, in its structure, color, appearance, is totally different. What is that? That now, in many of these orchids, it is not that orchids offer a reward in the formation of a nectar and all. Some of the orchids, they possess some different structure in the flower to cheat the pollinator. How it cheats the pollinator, Here, the Mediterranean orchid employs sexual deceit. Sometimes it is asked, what is sexual deceit? The Mediterranean orchid called Ophrys employs sexual deceit. Deceit means mosa, cheating, fooling. Sexual deceit to get the pollination done by a species of a bee. What it does? This orchid, which one? Ophrys. It shows a sort of a sexually cheating, sexual deceit. That means, let me tell you, in this Ophrys, one of the petals of the flower bears a resemblance to the female bee in size, color, marking. If you look here, it appears to you as some sort of insect. Yes, it mimics that appearance of that male bee, even in color, in size, and even on the body marking. It appears, it makes the imitation of the female bee. So, one of the petals of the flower, it resembles the female bee. In its structure, color, and markings and all. Now, the male bee comes into the flower. It thinks that this is a female bee. It embraces it. It is a female bee, and it gets into some sort of a pseudo-copulation. It does the act of copulation. It thinks that it is a female bee. So the male bee is attracted to what it perceives as female. Pseudocopulates. It tries to copulate, but this is not at all a female bee. At that act, it collects the pollen grains from this flower and it visits another flower. There also it sees that it is the female bee and it tries to pseudocopulate. So pollen starts falling down on the stigma of the another flower. So in this way, when it visits another one, the pollen is dusted on that flower from the virgin flower. So pseudocopulates with the flower, and during that process is dusted the pollen from this flower. And when it meets another flower, it sits, that pollen falls on the stigma of the another flower. Have you understood this? Is it clear? Is it clear? Any doubt? Siddesh?
No, sir.
No. Vismita?
No, sir.
Lohit?
No, sir.
Okay. This is what you have. Right? When this same bee pseudocopulates with the another flower, it transfers pollen to it and thus pollinates the flower. Here we can see how co-evolution operates. What co-evolution operates? If the female bee's color in nature, if the female bee's color patterns change, even slightly, for any reason, during evolution, pollination success will be reduced unless the orchid flower co-evolves to maintain the resemblance of its petal to the female bee. This is what is expected, and this is what is happening also. Whenever the real bee undergoes evolution, this orchid flower petal also should undergo or should evolve in the same way, so as to keep all these male bees attracted towards it. Right? So with this particular chapter got over. Right? Clear?